Many people have said that the National Defense Strategy is essentially a maritime strategy, including the acting Secretary of Defense, Tom Modly, most recently in his latest Vector 6. I believe that too. And for those of us who have spent our lives at sea, we innately know the reasons why. The rest of America, as I've said, however, may not know. And we, collectively, owe it to ourselves and our country to do a better job of making that case for what the United States Navy does for our fellow citizens. There are so many ways that our work is critical, but there are three in particular that I want to touch on this afternoon. The first is securing that economic prosperity that we all enjoy. The second is deterring our adversaries, and if we must fight, keeping that fight far, far from home. And the third is providing flexible options to our civilian leaders in any corner of the world, and as C&O Clark would say, without a permission slip. Despite the tendency here in D.C. to focus on some false choices, the truth is that in order to deter our challenges in the future, we have to grow our fleet's capabilities at the same time that we maintain and modernize. It's our job to argue for that growth. It's why we need a Navy. The truth is, if we aren't growing those capabilities today, we are falling behind. The growth I'm talking about is a lot more than numbers. Growth is about increasing our naval relationships, first and foremost, with the United States Marine Corps, as well as with the Joint Force and with our allies and partners. We need to pursue unmanned technologies, and we need to solve tough technology and policy issues associated with unmanned, instead of running away from them. We need to ensure that our logistics forces can support a larger fleet, and that they can do so in support of distributed maritime operations in contested environments. As surface warriors, we can be very excited about what some of our near-term efforts are. The next generation frigate, experimenting with unmanned and optimally manned systems in concert with manned platforms by continuing to backfit our current ships with new capabilities. The deployment of Gabriel Giffords to 7th Fleet with the Naval Strike Missile, a prime example. In my entire career, and I say this not just because I'm C&O, I really believe I can't think of a better time to serve in the United States Navy and in our surface force. Decisive and growing naval capability has never mattered so much to our way of life. It's up to each of us to help to tell the story why. When I talk to Congress, I think I have to make a case that we have to sustain the Navy that we have today. It's been an age-old problem for us. Admiral Brown up here a little while ago talked about maintenance, right? He talked about our laser focus on it. He talked about the trend that we're on, and we're on a really good trend, right? We need to fix that. You know, getting ships out of shipyards at, you know, a rate of 20%, 25%, 30% completion on time is completely unsatisfactory. In a country like this, it's embarrassing. And so we need to fix that stuff. That's where we need to put our effort. I haven't heard what you're talking about in terms of operations and maintenance accounts. That's a high priority for me. Steaming hours, flying hours, maintenance. We are funding maintenance at the highest executable levels that we can.